Miyuyam. Hello everyone. I'm so excited that you tuned in to our special presentation. My name is Jackie Tehuka Nunez, and I'm a member of the Juaneño Band of Mission Indians, a Hashima Nation. We are the indigenous people, we generally say, of all Orange County, but to the north of us is the Tongva, so there was some shared territory there. And to the south of us, there was the Luceño, and so we shared some borderlines. But we generally say we are the indigenous people of Orange County. And my ancestors actually are from Gavet, which is the area that we're here right now. So I always feel like this is a very special place for me to be. And because of that, I want you to hear a prayer song in my language. And my ancestors would hold the abalone shell. This was our greatest trading resource. This is white sage, and it can be fresh like this, and we can bundle it and we can burn it. But today we have some fresh sage. And so I'll offer this to all the families that are watching and every boy and girl as we really are. This is a new time. This is going to be a new year for all of us. Even the pandemic has really caused us to think differently. And so where I could be face to face with you, now I have to use a little virtual, but my heart is connected to your heart, who's ever watching. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, yeah, yeah, which to na Jesus to na hompa halo na chaya iya tam tuna na chaya tam tuna. Beautiful Creator, we thank you. We thank Creator because He's given us all of this beauty around us. And though America has been in existence for over 200 plus years, our ancestors have lived in this area for thousands of years. Some say 6, some say 12, some say forever. So we know that, our place here was our place from time immemorial, forever. And the things that I brought here today have come from the earth because everything that my ancestors needed came from the earth. And we worked together to create a cohesive village. My ancestors found out what each one's gifts were. And today, I think we're finding out that that's so important. It's so important if you're the kind of person that likes sports and you're out there doing what you love to do, and maybe you'll become a coach in a high school or a college. And if you're somebody who's very dedicated to take notes and you just, love research, then you may become a scientist. And in the same way that my ancestors they paid attention to all the children. They said, you are a good basket weaver. This one, you are a good gatherer. Oh, you can gather the plants. You're going to be a great gatherer. And they worked together so that they could create this beautiful basket. Some were they were very good at, most men were hunters, and so you had to make tools. So there were some boys that were better at making tools than others. And so I love that about my ancestors, and I try to encourage children to find out what you love to do, because that's in all of you. From the time you were born, there were genes inside of you that direct you to do what you should be doing on earth. So pay attention, and maybe after this you might think about it. What do I love to do? Now, I'm going to show you something that right away, we're just going to get it right out immediately so we can talk about this. And this will help us through our whole presentation. But have any idea of what that is? Some say shells. Good guess, but no. Well, these are deer toenails. I know you're on the other side going, ew! But instead, I would love for you to say, ah. Why? Because we used every part of the deer, down to the deer toenails. Now, when you see this, I want you to look at it, and I want you to take your finger, and this is what I want you to do. Put it here and say, that's different. Try it. That's different. Put your thumb up and say, and that deserves understanding. Say it. And that deserves understanding and my respect. Boys and girls, what looks unusual to you is quite beautiful to me. And when we understand those differences about cultures, then we won't laugh at people. My children, when they were little, they got laughed at because they had long hair and they were boys. And the children would make motions like they were going to cut their braids out. And they called them girls, and they made fun of them when my boys just wanted to be proud of who they were. And so that's why I started my presentation, because I wanted to share with children about our culture so that children wouldn't need to laugh, because now they understand. Boys never cut their hair unless someone would pass away. And if someone would pass away, then we would cut our hair. And then people in the tribe would say, ooh, and they would give you compassion. And they would know that someone has passed away close to you. So that's something to learn about, another culture. Why do those Native Americans, why do they wear long hair? Well, you just keep your hair long. My daughter-in-law, she is Cree up in Canada. They grow their hair. They never cut their hair. And when they gather their plants, their hair touches Mother Earth. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Well, let's look on my table just for a minute, and we're going to see a few things that might be interesting to you. This basket right here started with one knot, right there. And that knot came from a plant that's called yucca. And in order to use the yucca plant when it's green, you have to pound it, you have to wash it out, and pretty soon it looks like this. And this yucca threads are the threads that start the basket to its belly button form. That's a small piece like this. In fact, here's a smaller form right there. So in order to make this part right here, they use the yucca, and then they begin to use the deer grass and whatever other firmer plant. This one happens to be with deer grass, this one. So I'm going to say some names of some of the plants that we use, and you can say them after me. Say juncus, deer grass, willow, tule, yucca. Not yucky, I said yucca. And that plant is so versatile. Why, that yucca plant right here can make a pair of yucca sandals. And we use this when we had to go up the mountains. When you're hiking, there's stickers and whatnot. So, but in the regular smaller area of the village, you could go barefooted. But when you had to go up the mountain, you needed your yucca sandals. Also, the yucca could make the netting. And we were fishermen. We would fish in the ocean. And if we were fishing in the creek, this is a miniature Tule boat that two people could stand on, and it floats through the creek as you would spear a fish. So this is a sample. So Tule was also very important to make that. Now I want to show you something else. Now this is a small basket, a gathering basket, so that the children would make a little basket to go gather some of the berries and cherries, choke cherries, elderberries, and whatnot. So a smaller basket would be made very quickly and then thrown to the environment because we knew that it would be food for someone. So Back in the day, it was purely, ecological. We would just bake something, and then if we knew that it could be used in the environment, then we tossed it. Wasn't that we cherished it, but we knew that it was sort of a one-time use. This could last forever. In fact, if you go into museums, you will see baskets that are over 200, 300, 500 years old. So here are, I'm going to look on my table right now. I want to tell you that if today, after you see our little time together and you say, oh, I wish I could do something that's a Native American game or something, well, you can. All you have to do is go outside your backyard and you find a stick like this. I just found it. And you take the stick and you say, Mom, I got a stick in my hand. I'm hiding it. It's either in the right hand or the left hand. What hand do you think it is? And my audience says right hand, and guess what? You're right. I have it in my right hand. Then you just go back. Guessing games like that were very, very important because we didn't have the games that you have today. Here's another game. Put it on your back hand like this. Throw it up in the air and try to catch it. If you can catch one, let's see how good you are with two. And so you get another stick. I'll teach you how to say 1, 2, 3 in my language. Say sepul, hue, pahai. Oh, I didn't catch it. So I lost the game and it would be your turn. But that's a simple way that you can say, I'm going to go out and make myself an Indian game. And all you need is a stick. This is a good size stick. It's almost like a driftwood now. But so go ahead and try to do that. Now, you're probably wondering what kind of foods that we ate. Everything from the ocean. Everything. Including this right here. And I bet Mom and Dad would be happy to know that this could be in season all the time lobsters. We had that. But when we didn't have that and we had to go into the environment, we might eat this. Yeah, grasshopper. And still, snake, rattlesnake, tastes like chicken. Everything almost tastes like chicken, all right? Except for the fish. So, and right here, here's a turtle. So the turtle shell was used actually for a rattle. So the stick was this way and it would turn into a rattle, but also we ate the meat. So we never wasted anything and we always tried to use our environment. But before we used the environment, we prayed. We asked Creator, may I take this life? May I gather? Even the gatherers of the plants, they would have an offering. You wouldn't just take things. And of course, I always say that my people were the very first recyclers. And you can be too. Cross your finger like this, and I want you to say some words after me. And you know some of them, but I've added a few. Say recycle, reuse, renew, respect Mother Earth, respect the swimmers, respect the flyers, respect the crawlers, respect yourself, but especially respect your neighbor. If your neighbor speaks a different language, do you laugh at them or make fun of them? No. If your neighbor sings, songs that you don't recognize, do you make fun of them? No. Learn why your neighbor is who they are and respect them. And as you learn about your neighbors, that's when you begin to create a beautiful community of understanding. Well, I think that that's it for this time. And I'm going to see you next time with something new. But in the meantime, I want to teach you this. Nokshun Love Om Palo. That means from a deep place in my heart, I thank you. So thank you, boys and girls. And in my language, we say, Ama. Ama.